nice. Fabulous. Here we go. The draft for Lost Ratones versus FMS. Get in here, folks. NLC versus Ultraliga. GBR versus Poland. A lot of Slovenians here as well, of course. A lot of Swedes here as well. In the form of Baus and Reckless, Nemesis and Crownie. Surely LR don't lose as well. Game 1's been fine. It's got trickier from them. Mirage Q, of course, is a massive enjoyer of the Yasuo. Has been for a long time. Zamalek as well. You should recognize any enjoyers of NLC. Played there a lot before. Wukong first pick for Velia, I think makes all the sense in the world. Warded 8 o'clock minute. We were playing likely at around 8 o'clock. We were indeed playing at around 8 o'clock. Done a bit earlier because the series ended earlier. And they want to get the rolling schedule rolling. And so we have done the rolling schedule rolling. Reepson looking at the Jarvan with the Orianna combo. It's a potent one. No Kiana ban. Well, not so far. They're happy to give it up. I don't know whether Reepson plays it, honestly. I'll say 2-0 LR wins. You gotta hope. Gotta hope. They went J4, so we'll see. It's a good pairing with the Orianna. I'm very strong right now. Also, we'll hit Value's pool a bit, because obviously he's a Jarvan enjoyer too. Gallia with the Wukong is fine. We know Nemesis plays it. We know Baus plays it too. There's the Cho'Gath. Beefy boy frontline. Lots of burst. They managed to win the game yesterday off an insane late game performance from Nemesis doing 64,000 damage in about 35 minutes on the Galio. Yeah, it's both strictly in double flex, so Nemesis hasn't played the Cho'Gath mid in a little while. Aatrox into it. Aatrox into Cho'Gath is a weird one, because obviously Aatrox doesn't likes to play around low HP, and Cho'Gath punishes you for that. Same with Volatile Quasar. But and the other thing is, of course, the silence can mess up Aatrox in the sense that he is very reliant on getting through his Q cycling, and if you silence him long enough, you can mess up his Q, or silence at the right time, you can mess up his Q timings and put it on a very long cooldown. But it is a good anti-tank matchup. It's a good flanking option. Decent to Wukong, decent to Galio, decent to Cho'Gath. You can want to brawl with 3 melees. That's pretty solid. Probably banning the second phase. Tristana away from Crownie. Yep, I see it. Just getting rid of the champions that he will find most comfortable here to deal with the dive. Xayah and Tristana, I think, are very sensible. He can go towards things like the Zeri or the Ezreal, but the Zeri in particular, he has been a little notorious about getting caught on. So we shall see. Baplash, if they can't burst Aatrox on 1cc rotation, they might get ugly. Yeah, agreed. So the thing is, especially if the Aatrox comes in secondary, that can be a problem. Kai'Sa away from Zamalek, who was an enjoyer of it. I can see it. Used to be a big Varus player. The Varus isn't necessarily that great right now. It's Sivir. In fact, I quite like Sivir. The Wukong's pretty good into it. And Cho'Gath can be a little bit frightening if you don't use your ult and spell shield well. Is this a Lucian pick? You could do it, but I think you are very, very heavily indexing into mid-game. I think Yunara's not bad. Can deal with Jarvan ult well enough by just REing out. Untouchable Shadow. Also sets Reckless up for an Enchanter, because Yunara likes Enchanters. So if you want to do Yunara Lulu, that's a fine combo here. Hell, Yunara Jan is not awful. Yunara Lulu. There you go. Just saying, I know ball. All right. Yunara does love her enchant. She doesn't bring all that much survivability for herself, and she's quite short range, so any way to allow her to glide more feels pretty good. Denies it away from mini match as well, who might have wanted that for the Jinx. You could still look at other enchanter options. If you want a Milio, you can, though. Something like the Rel will also work, as it gives you another good ball carrier, so you're not as indexed into it being Jarvan or Bust. That's probably the most sensible one. You are going to get shoved in. And you may be reliant on trying to get good shattering strikes to break the Lulu shields and all in early in lane to potentially break the shove. Though I think realistically, every time Yunara has Q stack, they will have a really nasty trade that you can't do a lot about. Why are you not allowing me to post? It's very annoying. See if this will do it. Maybe it's a Twitch link, EMEA. What does FMS stand for? I think it's a sponsor thing, but I'm not actually sure. Let me double check. I asked this before and I didn't remember. My memory says sponsor thing, but that's not necessarily the most reliable source of information. It has to be said. FMS. StormMedia FMS. Cool. I didn't want that one. I just want org. Give me the org. Yeah, so FMS used to be called Fajnie Miecz Skiad. So Polish acronym, I think. And it's the successor to Kiedzies Mialim Fun. With Ripson, who's the jungler as the sole owner, which is quite crazy. Didn't realize that. But they get some sponsors and become StormMedia FMS. So they just kind of gone towards the... Oh, my web browser's broken a bit.
Seconds until minions spawn.
There we go, we're back. Brief kind of froze a bit there. That. Yeah. But yes, FMS is that. What's that short for? Yeah, Nemesis Galio is a carry. I agree.
Minions have spawned.
Why is this smart? I mean, okay, you got weirdly held there. I'm sorry, Socks of White. For whatever reason, my bot decided that you were a problem. Or Twitch bot decided you were a problem. Pedro should have subbed in for the owner versus owner battle. Yeah. Is the owner playing for FMS? So apparently, Ribson, the jungler. Was it Roybson? I never remember how to pronounce his name. I always have to ask Solari every time. He has played before. He's made EMEA Masters before a number of times. Yes, as I understand it, he used to be the owner. I don't know whether with StormMedia coming and whether they've taken over ownership or not. But either way, that is the case. Yep, still the owner. Still the owner. Big chunks bot sides. Reckless has to flash. A little bit unfortunate. Heal down as well. Very good going at the level 2 there. I was expecting the Yunara Lulu to have a lot better prio in lane. But that's what you can do at level 1s too, potentially, is before you get shove and control of the lane, it's just blow summoners to the engaged support, full send it. But the latter got caught messaging minors. Oh my god, so that's the reason it's just Ribson alone now. Yeah, I can see why that would be a problem. Thank you for the additional context as to why Ribson is now the sole owner, because the other owner was in fact an awful human being. Brownie's now having a ghost as well. Man, Mini Match's getting a lot of value down here. Bloody hell. They have to stick in lane, but I mean, this is looking pretty doomed. But that's a wild level 1 loss. Could you imagine if LR lose game 1 and Cadril subs in? Like, can you imagine the scenes? Oh, baby. Rygo, good chunk on the Baus, who has got Halo Blades, because of course he has. It's Baus, Dark Seal first, of course he has. Dark Seal for Nemesis, of course he has. LR are LRing. As long as he doesn't play Malzahar. Yeah, I know. This bot side's in a rough spot. TP from Cho'Gath. Okay, so they're lane swapping out of it. Fine. Wave should crash. They'll catch most of it topside. They've gone for the Cull angle. Rough start to the lane. It should have been a lot better with this lane. You should be winning this lane very hard. And the fact you're not is a problem. At least as far as I understand it. The fact that's not happened is kind of crazy. Thank you for the follow, Pirate King Poppet. Hello, Poppet. Here for the LR down for Karuru. I was just looking up to see whether there was any more drama from Wildcats and FMS. Apparently Don Jake's put out a video, which would be great to see. I'm very excited. Finally got my bloody Twitter post up. That literally took me 15 minutes to get uploaded. Good lord. For a 30-second video. Symbiotic Souls early, no surprise. Faust gets a feast stack. What's the drama? Oh, it's started petty and has gotten stronger, but basically some what started as some stream drama has expanded to a lot of bad blood between Poland and Turkey coming to the fore. Down a lot of CS in this bot lane, I was not expecting. Cho'Gath also losing pretty hard here. Not great laning so far. There's the step forwards. Stoned off the wave. Shattering Strike denies a lot of that time on the Q, though. Dragon taken on the other side. Not bad. You see the time, Ribson. Ribson, I think. Or Royson was the one I think. Ribson is probably still the correct pronunciation, actually. I need to see what Don Jake tweeted about it all. I'm not sure I can show it on stream because I don't trust his potty mouth. I'll look at it in the break. Lost so far, they can make so much more LR content. That's the one. That's the one. What means I want to see LR in finals. It could be a good time. Could be a good time. I'd like to see the rematch. Would be a good one. There's some really good ones. It's been a very slow game. I agree, PB. Hopefully, it'll get a little bit more exciting as we go. Why did Nemesis carry RE recall? Good question. Didn't want to take the risk. Didn't know where the jungler was. Was kind of okay with her backing on a bad timer. I don't actually know. I was a bit busy reading chat, I'm not going to lie. Might have been on cooldown with the Q as well. And it might just also been like, actually would have cost me CS, and I'd rather get the CS. Which is probably more valuable in the grand scheme. Conqueror stack. Baus misses Rupture. I think he might be in danger here. Good silence. Needs to be afraid of the second Q. Rupture comes on out. Q. Forces flash. Very good. Flash, flash. Baus going to have to back. Doesn't have TP. Out there goes the Void Grubs. I'm slightly surprised Jinx hasn't matched the Cull with the Cull, actually. Hey, Lion Man. Good to see you. Even early game, Baus hasn't yet died. Velia hasn't hinted. LR win. It's looking alright. So again, I'm a little nervous about where things will end up with the bot lane. Again, they did not have a great level 1. This isn't bad though. Full grubs. Plate, maybe 2. Frygo gonna try and clear out this wave and does so. Crowny's ghosted. Velia's here, but so is Mini Magic. The wave Reckless will wild growth themselves. Bloody hell. Not the best, but they get 2 turret plates, but not the end of the world. Not the best reset timings, actually, from Zamalek there. Ends up dropping a fair amount of the wave. He was of about 20 CS, not anymore. And giving up 2 plates there is pretty rough as well. Actually put Yunara slightly into a lead. I actually really like FMS comp here. It's a good comp. Not that LR's is bad, actually. They've got a lot of really good zone control and wombo. Like, their bounce house is strong. Like, you land, Wukong goes in, Galio follows, Cho'Gath silences, Yunara's bouncing people into the grave with a Lulu empowering them because they've got a good front line behind it. And it's good anti-dive as well, right? Like, diving into Galio, Wukong, and Cho'Gath with a Lulu saving whoever gets dove on is pretty tough. Oh my god, Sunshine, it's you rumor mongery you. That was a bad shockwave. I see what the angle was, Mirage Q, but that was not it. Serpent's Fang first on J4. It might be opportunity. We've seen a bit of opportunity, Jarvan. Successfully. Or semi-successfully, I might add. Seaboy tried it. Zamalek. Eats a bit of damage, not too much more. But yeah, I wouldn't be entirely surprised not to see opportunity here. Unlikely to be Serpent's Fang first. Though then again, you are into Galio Lulu. Serpent's Fang at some point will be valuable. Baus is actually not having fun here at all. Ooh, Q3 sweet spot just about missed, but there's the Infernal Chains. Baus breaks it. Turret shot's happening. Last auto does it. Nicely done. Baus down CS and a kill. And a level. Baus's lore ain't working. It is opportunity. Thank you. Thank you. I am correct. See? Look at that. There it is. Outplayed, nothing to say. Is a little bit. And that could be a bit of... We did see the Aatrox yesterday nearly get to a point where they were going to mess with it. But it didn't. Well, sorry. Yesterday we saw an Aatrox get Giga Fed and then they couldn't carry with it. And maybe that will not be the case here as well. Genius co-streamer always correct, you know it. T-Bone, I met your brother once at a Comic-Con. I hope he told you I thought you were great. Oh, thank you very much, T-Bone. That's really, really cool. It's kind of weird when we sort of get recognized in the streets occasionally. It's kind of good fun. Comic-Con's more than most places because, you know, certain confluence of nerds does that to people. Thank you very much. I'll make sure to pass on the word to him as well. Early game is usually their weakest. This lane swap patch is making it even harder on them. Yeah, they're definitely not ready on the lane swap. I agree. Though, in fairness, they weren't dealing with a lane swap this time around. It was just straight lanes. Still, Dragon secured. That's not bad for Lost Ratones. Still down 1,000 gold. A little bit tricky. You got about a wave and a half for Crowny to cash in Cull, which would be really nice for him, and that will help catch him up, and then he'll be ahead of the Jinx, which would be really nice. I think Zamalek should have gone Cull and matched it, personally. I was genuinely starstruck with him, too. I love his work. Could tell halfway around with him, well, I was being too much. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're like, it's always nice to hear the praise. And like, you know, we're pretty easy about it. We're still geeky people who love League of Legends. It's really not a big deal. As long as you're not being weird about it, anyway. And most people really aren't. There's been one or two you go, okay, you need to stop. There's definitely been some weird DMs, guys. Been some weird DMs. But welcome to the entertainment business. Does anyone have any info about the Red Bull League of its own tickets? When were they available? No, I think they've already sold out. They've gone. Oof. Yeah, they disappeared real fast. How would DNF do in EMEA? Middle of the pack. Depends if they were bringing their coaching staff and stuff over as well. That might help. That J4 build, it really isn't in this game. I mean, you are facing 3 champions that will have armor. Kind of sucks. I think the thought process is, look, if I'm going in as Jarvan, I'm going to die anyway. This way, if I can take Yunara and or Lulu with me, then if I'm going 1-for-1, having taken out the core of the composition, then my work here is done. Because what it means is basically between Jarvan and Orianna, you will get a reset for Jinx. It makes things trickier in terms of keeping your jungler alive to have a smite up for objectives. But hey, you're already going to have a tough time with Cho'Gath there as an additional secure for LR anyway. So, opportunity Jarvan has been done into Yunara quite a lot. Basically to say, yeah, if you're going to be in range of Cataclysm, I will blow you up every time. Like, it's definitely risky, but that's the thought process anyway. I need to see it play out. I think, personally, I would have gone for a tankier build, because I feel like you are very likely to die every time you do for it. It's a bit of a suicide pack, right? Everyone just buys Ninja Type, it's no problem. Yeah, basically. Buy your steel caps. But that would involve Nemesis and Baus building tank. Zamalek surviving for now. Wild Growth. There's the massive opportunity proc. Zamalek flashes up but gets feasted by Baus. Adiam. The problem is Frygo's about to blow up Crowny potentially. Flash over the other side. Mini-match getting a little bit of CC down. But yeah, Crowny survived and you just took Velia with you. That was very nice from Baus with the flash rocket belt. Just blew up Zamalek, who tried to flash and get value out of the excitement. Still, who got the Herald? No one got the Herald. Still up. Okay. Well, Yunara's now got the Blade of the Ruin King, which I think is very valuable into a comp that's trying to blow you up straight away. You either go Hurricane or PD here. A reminder, LR have been pretty convincing in their game ones in both their other series that they lost, so... I've seen the new ARAM with augments on the game mode. It's really fun. I've seen it on Wild Rift before this as well, because Wild Rift's done this for a while, and I think it's really cool. I think it's a great addition. I think it adds a lot of value in there. I think it's a really I think it's very cool. I'm going to be playing it a lot, for sure. Chat, this is game 1, right? It should be. Yeah, I get the idea, but doesn't Sundered Sky do the job better? I think, honestly... Opportunity onto Yunara probably is a bigger upfront burst. Sundered Sky is, yes, it's decent upfront burst because you kind of get the auto crit and it works well with Jarvan passive. It's the reason why it's a great combo on Jarvan, right? But its opportunity is still actually more burst, I think. Like, yeah, like you just did like an insane amount of Velia's HP bar there, even through Wild Growth. Nice. And Jinx gets a second kill. Thoughts on Wild Rift Soraka heal, but she doesn't lose any HP at all. Well, that's already a crazy option for Soraka. I don't know Wild Rift as well, but that's pretty nuts. Is her healing numbers lower? Will it be a separate game mode from normal ARAM? I believe so, yes. You'll still be able to play standard ARAM. They lose feats for that. Yes, no, they don't quite. If they lose the next objective, they will. But that's what it's getting decided by, his next objective. Dragon's up. Double towers down now for FMS. Will be a temporary mode? I don't actually know. They announced it in the latest video, and I can't remember off the top of my head. EMEA Master Organizers sweating if LR leaves early. It would certainly not be great for viewership numbers. Same deal with T1 not being in a tournament, right? That will be Dragon and feat of strength for LR. Ooh, Rocket! Nice block by Crowny. Not even close, baby. Peace, love, and gum. Thank you, 30 more. Yeah, so, Noonday, basically, it's been done in Wild Rift, and it's done really well on Wild Rift, which is why I think they've decided to try and bring it over to the PC version as well. Mirage Cube whacks that turret down. That's all 3 out of turrets. That's pretty good news for FMS. Less so for LR. But hey, feats of strength and 2 dragons. The end of the world. They probably do need to make sure they get at least that tier 1 top side to give them a little bit of length in a side lane to work with. Best L, but it depends. Okay, Nivanian, are we talking? I'm assuming we're talking in game, because then the answer is if you're playing Wild Rift, then the Wild Rift team. If you're playing League of Legends, then the League of Legends team. If you're talking about a separate game mode, I think that gets a bit more nuanced. Turret goes down to the wave. Fraggle not quite there in time. Didn't want to burn TP. It's what it is. Mid lane turret still healthy enough. Still saying the early game is worse than normal. Yeah, I mean, that level 1 was not great bot lane. We raised those complaints already. The recovery's been solid enough. But this Jinx is still going to be a problem. Can still carry this game. And Atakan is definitely throwable. You've got Baus with a potential additional secure with Feast. Keep your eyes on that. Aware the TP's coming. There's the Aatrox. They've turned on the Baus. Trying to turn it around. They've blown up a lead for Imson, who's very squishy because he's opportunity jarvan. They do blow up one back. Baus is down for it. Velia gets to survive with the Wild Growth, but Nemesis is now in danger. He's bloody squishy himself. Frygo now resetting. Wild Ender rolling. Crown needs to get out of there, but he's trying to get hit by another Darkin Blade. Has to flash away. Frygo now flashing for the Q3. Trying to run further, but how much further can you run into Snowman? But the Infernal Chase knocked up by the Q, and they get the kill on Crowdy, and LR overplay the Atakan. I'm not sure how that works, Blast Tester, because they won the other season, the other EMEA matches every time they played an NLC as well. That's pretty wild, and they get... Hang on! Velia stole it! And Baus is TP'd in? Oh, no. Well, the kills are all there for FMS, but that is an unfortunate steal to give up. No way. I just thought it was done, then I saw Velia get in there. And Baus gets out. Oh, my days. And just putting this out there, Baus has arguably got the best scoreline on the Rift right now. For LR. Specifically. That's funny. Profane Hydra now on the Jarvan. Yeesh, that's going to be a lot of upfront burst. Funny. They had no smite. Yep. But they thought having killed 3 people, it would be free. And logically, it would be. But Velia went, nah, I win those. And did. Nemesis. Infernal Chains. Rocket Belt. They're going to try and hold the sum of the CC to ensure he can't ult out. There's the taunt. Justice Punch. Fly away with the Phase Rush. Did have to burn Flash. Did have to burn Wild Growth. It means they won't have Wild Growth likely. for Dragon, which would be soul point for them, which I think is probably a fairly major win condition. 2 items on both AD carries. 2 items for the jungler and Orianna, though, is a bit of a problem. That the top side lead is an issue for LR in this Dragon fight, because I don't think they're necessarily going to have a third or second item for the Wukong or the Galio, who stopped off for Oblivion Orb. At the very least, you did get the Rocket Belt just done for Baus. Oh, sorry, not the Rocket Belt done, the Riftmaker done for Baus. How much percentage is Atacant value? Depends how many petals you got. My general rule of thumb, and I don't know whether it still holds true, is it's about 1,000 gold for 10 petals difference. You know, this is a fairly standard Yunara build. Hurricane allows her to stack her Q really well and get a lot of value off the AoE scaling. Blade of the Rune King works really well off her HP damage on the Q anyway. Where do we see battles? Unfortunately, we can only see them down here. Currently, I believe, is 5 petals, which is kind of very disappointing even with Atacant. So no, that's for FMS. They've got 5 petals without Atacant. When we see a hover of a LR player, we'll know. So they've gotten... Is it not showing the petals on here? No idea then. Is the answer? LR looks quite AP heavy. Yeah, they are quite. I mean, Wukong will help. And Yunara obviously gets AP off her crits. Or does AP damage on her crits. 8, okay. That's feast stacks, not petals. For the record, when Baus was on screen, so I don't think that counts. 5 petals on Orianna, but that's for FMS who didn't get Atacant, right? So... Okay. That's looking fine. Another stack for Baus. It is. This Aatrox is terrifying, by the way. Shojin, Sundered Sky, going towards a pen item. He's not going to be very tanky, but he will absolutely blast the squishy members here. Just went to initial to Nemesis stream. They've got 20 petals. Thank you very much. In that case, about 1,500 gold worth of stats. I appreciate you, Draken, for doing some hunting for us. Much love. Just started lunch break. What did I miss? Very scrappy early game. FMS got a lot of kills. They've gotten some really good early laning phases. But LR managed to sneak away an Atacant, despite having lost a few members before it. And I've done pretty well in terms of getting some dragons and stuff. They are in a potentially difficult position in the sense they did lose what would have been soul point for them, and they're struggling to keep the Yunara in a good position in these fights. Velia is also now having a tough time. Opportunity just blasted his face. Oh, he's dead around Baron. Oh no. Oh no. Here we go. 4v5. Your jungler's dead. I mean, that's just bad. Why were you there by yourself? Opportunity. Basically, opportunity job just went EO. That's not great from Velia. In fairness, he just pulled off a miracle play stealing the Atacant. That was good from him. But that is a bad one for getting caught out there. I have no idea why he's there alone. That one sucks. That might be GG. Yeah, it might be. It'll stack over until Dragon, so FMS might get soul off as well. So if they get enough gold from this and soul point, I think it's pretty difficult. Orianna now has a death cap. You've got an Infinity Edge on the Jinx. You've got a Cyrilda's on the Aatrox. You've got some very powerful items. Yes, you've got the third item on the Yunara. That Mortal Reminder is important. Cuts through a lot of the healing for the Aatrox and stuff. Good news. But you're a long way off that elsewhere. You're quite squishy, snowbally top and mid lane with this build. And you're an item behind. Individually. In both solo lanes. Like, that will hurt here. Like, yes, if you blow up the Jinx or the Orianna before they get to do anything here, or counterpunch the Jarvan ult, then life is fine. But I don't think... It's a one-way trip, guys. It's a one-way trip. Velia's just also not tanky into Ribson there, who ulted a clone. Why is everyone ulting Wukong clones this tournament? Profane Hydra opportunity deck. Like, you're bloody squishy with this build. Bloody squishy. If you are the one engaged on, you will die. However, looking to look for the turnaround. Ribson interrupts Bowser's flank angle. He will likely die now to the Aatrox. Good feast angle. Ribson flashes away. Good angle on the backline, but Zamalek survives for a second or two. Mirage Q will likely die. That's not bad, actually, at all from Lost Ratones. They turn too hard on Bouse. But the problem is Frygo's now here. Nemesis trying to buy some space. But that probably means Nemesis is in danger. Frygo doesn't have flash anymore, and the World End is timed out. They will still get the mid lane tier 1. Also tier 3. Slightly further down the line. Crownie's trading. So that end up being 2 for 2. Actually, Value and Bouse both died. I didn't realize Bouse and Value were going to die off the other side. I thought they were going to be able to get out of there, but they didn't. Still, you blew flash off Zamalek. And you can potentially contest this dragon. You don't have to, but you potentially can. I think Crownie might want to reset here and try and buy stuff. Cam may step for a bit of speed. You also don't have to fight this dragon. Serpent's Fang now for the Jarvan. The other thing with this build that Jarvan's gone for is you can justify Serpent's Fang a lot more freely. Synergizes with the other items a lot more. It's just more lethality, right? And you're into a Galio and a Lulu. You want to get people who've got shields and punish them for it. Q3. Oh, boy. Squishy members. Ahoy. Eat Jarvan damage. 25 gold from comboing the clone. Hell yeah. That, unfortunately, is your mid laner dead and soul point for FMS. I don't know about that one, Nemesis. I get that they were trying to get some waves where they could, and they weren't necessarily expecting FMS to be there and to be rather just on the dragon. But I think you had to be respectful of the fact they didn't have to rush dragon there. And now, because you've lost Nemesis, you're a 5v4, and your inhibitors will be now under siege. You're going to go down 2 inhibitors here, realistically. For the record, I don't think it's been Cho'Gath as the issue this game. With the exception of that unfortunate Atacama moment. But there's 2 inhibitors down. That is a 7,000 gold lead in soul point. This is game 1 done. It might genuinely be LR on a full crash out of the tournament. We'll see. This is still... How is this played? If they can get FMS fumbling around Baron, if you can blow up Ribson or he doesn't get a good enough ultimate here, and you can basically murder Jinx, you've got an AP Cho'Gath, you can absolutely one-shot her, then I think it's playable. But you do need to bring down Jinx or Orianna before they do too much damage. And I still think you're going to have a problem with the Aatrox afterwards, who is just so far up he's cleaning up anybody in the front line. Especially because your front line is bloody paper. You've got HP stackers with no armor. This Aatrox, who's what, 3.5 items, will tear through a Galio and a Cho'Gath. But I think a lot of the old LR comps aren't feeling that comfortable in the current meta, it has to be said. We're not really seeing new tech from them, are we? The Unara kind of is, but everything else is what we've seen all the otherwise. I hate half AP, half tank. I think it's fine on Cho'Gath and Galio, but it's not fantastic when you're miles behind. We saw Nemesis absolutely blast people with it yesterday. He will die here probably, just about escapes with the phase rush. No. Crypt from the Jinx. Bouse on a flank angle, won't get in. It's not bad from Velia, actually. Might get Zamalek, but there's the shield. Got the kill. That's not bad. Crownie can start turning around with the Hurricane. Really nice from Velia and Crownie. Really nice from Velia and Crownie. That's 3 for 1. Well, Bouse dies well. 3 for 2. The problem is the base is still having a horrible time. And you can't get anything off this. Maybe you can look at Baron. You've got double TPs. Maybe that's the angle. And you can sort of see they have it in them to kill some targets. They've got the burst. Especially if Crowny gets free time. That's a 4th item for him, by the way. That just bought him an Infinity Edge. The difficulty will be if Aatrox is there as well. Because I do think Aatrox becomes that additional raid boss that they are struggling to manage. However, because Baus took Aatrox's time up, he wasn't there to save the rest of the play. They are going to rush this, and I think this dies. They've got the Aatrox in base trying to play for Nexus turrets. Oh, they're going to try and rush for the end. Oh, is it Baron for Nexus? Oh, boy. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. World Ender. Mirage Q stepping on forwards. They can look for a shockwave. There's the big chunk. Aatrox is still absolutely terrified. Wants to reset the ult. If he can get the pullback. Doesn't quite. Nemesis survives. Everyone is back. And they feasted the Aatrox. They overplayed it. Nexus turret stand. Okay. And that gold leads down to 2,500, by the way. Big shutdowns. You needed people stopping the backs there. Like, did Jinx not have Rocket? No, not for a few more seconds. Minute till Soul. That will probably be deciding fight. At the very least, LR buy a lot of gold here to get themselves towards fighting a fighting point, right? You are still behind. You're still going to deal with some very scary members. But 2,000 gold is not that much. Your Yunara is now terrifying. You've caught up well enough in mid lane. Your Cho'Gath is still at 4 items. You're a pseudo tank at this point with the Jack Show and the Randuins. This is playable. But you are going to have to fight this Soul. You can't give that up. Mid lane tier 1 probably dies to the cannon. Yeah, it does. Okay. Hang on, TP behind? What? Are they looking for the flank angle? They are. They want to end it here. All right, Frigo. Gets spotted out. Backsteps the Rupture. Forces LR to retreat through their own jungle. At least got some wards there. The Ocean Rift, so that ward in the back of the pit is a difficult one to spot, but they have spotted it courtesy of the Farsight alteration. Found their way into River. Galio has to manage the Aatrox, but Galio can join a lot faster than the Aatrox, courtesy of the ult. Frigo doesn't have TP, now looking for the flank angle. Eyes on Nemesis. Can rejoin with a hero's entrance very easy. Has moved up, they know he's there because of the ward in the bush. Faust now looking for his own angle. He's unspotted. Now they know he's there. Rupture on 2. Flash for the silence. Shockwave not required because they've just blown up the Jinx. Wonderful from Baus. That gets them soul point themselves. LR, I think, have just claimed a gold lead. Not quite, but it's close. Ivanian again, done in by my bot. This is wonderful. At this point, just subscribe. Just do it. Commit to the sub. You know you want to. That is pretty good going. Hang on, in the base. Nemesis now in danger. Oh boy, they're going to force some resets. They can kill off Nemesis. It might be some value. The problem is they don't have the Jinxes and still potentially a 3v4. Not happening. But it does sort of thwart the push a little. Velia should claim this turret. He's Wukong with clone. Will take turrets very fast at this point in the game. Sheen procs. Grubs. Everything else won't quite get the inhibitor, I don't think. Are they TPing for this? Oh, Velia. They will lose inhibitor for this. Crashing on down with some Ferromancy. Jinx Rocket could come and join. Wait for it. Where's the rocket flying? Not. Bousy saving the game. That was a really lovely flank. It was. Lost Ratones now have a minor gold lead. Why are they looking worse? I think part of it is the meta has shifted in a way that punishes Lost Ratones' play pattern a lot more. Allowing particularly junglers to snowball. It's just not it. You can't allow that to happen. Like, if you're giving Kiana, Neferi players, Zed players value, it's tough. I also think teams just know Lost Ratones better, so they're not giving as many exit plays out to Lost Ratones, which is how they were getting stuff back in. Those snowball carry junglers have been tough. And I don't think we've seen a lot of the meta pickups from Lost Ratones be that great. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Velia's going to eat a lot of it. Survives. Wild Growth. But again, that's Wild Growth down. That's Cyclone down. Does it lead to that much? Just in trade for the Cataclysm and Wild Ender, actually. I didn't see that Aatrox had burned that too. Still, force out at their own jungle. Frygo stepping on forward. Silence, but that's a very scary Aatrox. Q3. Baus not quite as tanky into the Aatrox as he will be into the Jinx. Jinx still not touched. Frygo. Jump over the wall. I also think that LR have just comms-wise started getting... There's some internal strife stuff from what we've seen from the videos. In terms of strife is a bit hard, but like the comms aren't as clean, the calls aren't as clean as they were. So the other thing is I just think Crowny and Nemesis have had quite a poor tournament, and it's making Velia look bad on top of it. But Nemesis has not been very consistent. Crowny's been getting caught very freely. Reckless has struggled to follow plays with Velia. And so mid-jungle isn't as synchronized as we'd like. The mid-jungle thing's not great, and I would actually argue part of that is Reckless as much as it is Velia. And a little bit more, because I think Reckless is saying, yeah, I know I can't do that and won't do that. More than actually agreeing to make plays. And I think that's meaning that Velia is not as confident making his own plays as a result. And then we have seen some mental crash outs from Nemesis and Crowny. And it's shown. Like, when they've had bad games, it's not been good for the team. They need Nemesis to be winning lane. And actually against the likes of Seren, that hasn't happened. Mini match will get over the wall. And again, it's all on camera. It's all on camera. You're not really able to hide behind it or have some anonymity. There is a very thin boundary between fans and LR because of how they play. And that's really cool for fans. But especially when people are going in and, you know, stirring the pot because they're having fun with it. Of course there is Twitch down. What would we expect? And that's getting to members of LR. Then that can be problematic too. Well, then it just popped, missing the Darkin Blade onto Crowny. Potentially quite big. That will mean Frygo will not have ult going into this Ocean Soul play. Oh, jump on the bows. He needs to survive. Redemption comes on through. Does survive. They've blown up Ripson. That was what we were worried about. The opportunity build makes you very squishy. They didn't kill Bounce on the other side. He's now a lot tankier at 4 items than he was earlier on. Jungler dead 20 seconds before Soul. I think LR are probably just about done it there. They're going to turn to Baron. They want to try and go for Soul. That's super fair. Baus alone gets crashed down onto, but that means that he is buying a lot of time for them just to get Soul for free. That will be Ocean Soul. Not even close, baby. Rocket, bloody block by Nemesis. Soul and Baron, 40 minutes into the game. And the content is real. For having a death cap, it feels like Mirage Q's not found a lot of big ults recently. Kind of agree. And I don't know what the thought process was there. Let's just Cataclysm Baus. He's going to be easy to kill. Not 20 minutes ago. He's got quite a lot of tank guard. He's got Unending Despair. He's got Jack Show. He's got Randuins. Would this be the cinema you younglings talk about? Yes, Solly. I think it would be. I think it would be. I think you still want you need pen at this point. You absolutely do. And Bloodletter's Curse when you're sole AP is not bad because you're shredding the AP for yourself more than anyone else, which is not bad. It's a good item here. I fear FMS will have screwed this, and it's a good position now for LR. Isn't that J4 criminal? The build was working earlier. It was, like, I wouldn't judge it by the last 5 minutes. People should buy Crypt Bloom more. It's a banger item. It got nerfed so heavily that people don't care so much anymore. It's like, look, if I want penetration, I'd rather go for the Void Staff. I need a bit, like, and if you want to go through more rotations, then Bloodletter's Curse is just better on that one. It feels like it's the worst of the big pen items. I know they added some like slight love taps to it, but basically Quipling when it first came in was just dominating. Everyone was buying it. And the healing burst is now a feel-good moment rather than anything actually good. Yeah, it's true. Reckless hasn't been threatened. He's now on 3 items. That's not a bad jump. Oh, Crowny. Oh, Crowny. Dying on mid lane wave. My God, that's what the Jarvan does. Opportunity Jarvan leads to some deaths. Four-item lethality Jarvan will still blow up your AD carry. They're going to try and have Wukong shove for inhibitor at the very least. Can they hold the wave? They're sending the Aatrox back. Aatrox has TP. Aatrox is basically protecting the waves. You've got 25 seconds till Crowny's up. We're going to get the second inhibitor. Elder will be in 3 minutes. An Ocean Soul means nothing if you die in about a second flat. There's the GA for the Wukong. That'll matter actually into quite a burst heavy comp. Matters for Ocean Soul too. Five-item Yunara. Okay, the game's not over, but getting those inhibitors matters somewhat, right? Because it means if you fumble another fight, or Crowny gets picked again, you can absolutely end the game. We are probably flipping an Elder here, guys. Like, guaranteed. It's going to be it'll be an 8 Drake game. Are they crumbling under the pressure and the whole bad publicity about the LEC stuff? I don't know. I think some of these fractures have been around for a while, and they kind of just won regardless. But we've seen this happen with teams like BLG before as well, but actually, you might be able to just play through the cracks, but eventually they become problematic enough, especially once teams start to figure out how to exploit them properly. So I don't think that's entirely fair. It probably has a factor. I'd be shocked if it didn't. Again, we've talked about it being a team that broadcasts pretty much everything. Thoughts on Garm being in JDG in 20 minutes? Incredibly JDG and very quintessentially their year. Also, Garm are a good team. First Vietnamese team to ever beat a Chinese team as well in a series. They've both their one best of ones before. Important series on that one. And then, of course, Weibo to then 2-0 DK to knock JDG out. Cinema and ASR. Bot is pushing for LR. It is. That was the power of getting their own inhibitor down there. We'll reset to clear that wave out. LR have managed to shove through mid all right as well. Reset. That's Bloodthirster for Jinx. Man, not quite at 5 items for Orianna, who might be going Zhonya's here, I think, with that NLR. I'm not sure Shadow Flame's the best. I mean, Shadow Flame might be not bad. A bit late for it. I feel like Vikings arguably should have won that one. They were done in by literal inclement weather. It was an active god that saw them put in a bad position. Did Reckless random cast ult? Did he? I was busy talking to chat. Oh my god. I mean, it's like a 20-second cooldown now. Did he wild growth it? Thank you for calling that one out, Alex. I missed that one. I mean, he's back up now, so not the end of the world. But still, Jesus, that's not great. Okay. Crowny goes forward. Gets the flash out of Mirage Q. That's not bad. Ult down. But flash earned off the Orianna. Crowny soul-bladed the Rune King for Bloodthirst. At this point in the game, that's perfectly fine. Velia. Oh, man. Wild Growth required. That's the one that came off cooldown. Rygo tries to survive. Gets a lot of healing himself. Ocean Soul value is good. Velia gets a Cyclone off. Crowny got the Jarvan. All the while, flash on forward. An AP Cho'Gath murders Mirage Q, who doesn't have the flash. GA earns value. They can't kill Crowny. Triple kill to him. Quadra kill to him. Flashes for the fun of it. And LR make it content, make it cinema, and clutch out an insane game. They were down 8,000 gold. And a Baron. And 2 inhibitors. And Nexus turrets were falling. And they still managed to win the game. Well, the Michael Bay direction's in. They've certainly got enough explosions. But once again, the wins are nothing short of a heart attack. My God, this gold graph is going to be something, guys.